the explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a really crucial process inside SAP production planning, how to manage and clean up your planned independent requirements. You know, if you get this right, you've basically got the key to a super reliable and efficient production plan. So let's kick things off with a problem that I bet almost every single production planner has run into. You've got these old, unconsumed forecasts just hanging out in your system. What do you do with them? Because if you just let them sit there, they can cause some real chaos, cluttering up your view and totally messing with your future planning. All right, to really get a handle on this, we've got to be crystal clear on what a planned independent requirement, or a PIR, actually is. So, in a nutshell, it's your forecast for what you think you're going to need in the future. I love this analogy. Think of it as the master shopping list for your factory. It's what guides your production before any real customer orders start rolling in. Now here's the good news. SAP doesn't just throw this problem at you and say, good luck. Nope. It's got this really smart, built-in, automatic way of handling these forecasts as things happen in the real world. This is like our first line of defense against all that data clutter. And you know, the concept behind it is actually pretty simple. When a real transaction happens, what SAP calls a goods issue, which is just a fancy way of saying you shipped a product or used a part, the system automatically reduces the forecast. It's like your plan is being consumed by reality, which keeps everything nicely up to date. But how does the system know which event should eat up that forecast? Is it when you ship something or when you use a part? Well, that's where we get to the real brains of the operation. It all comes down to a super critical setting for every single material. It's planning strategy. Okay, let's look at a couple of classic examples here on the screen. If you've got a make-to-stock item using what's called Strategy 10, the trigger is when you ship something for a sales order. Simple enough, right? But for planning with assemblies, using Strategy 70, the trigger is actually when you use a component in a production order. So see, it's the same core idea, but it's tied to completely different business events. And this table here, wow, it just lays out the flexibility so perfectly. You can see how the trigger event changes depending on the strategy. For Strategy 10, it's a goods issue. But look at Strategy 11, it's a goods receipt. And we already saw Strategy 70, which is tied to a production order. Each one of these tells the system exactly what business event fulfills that forecast. So, what's the big takeaway here? The planning strategy is the absolute brain behind this whole process. It's not just some random setting, it's a huge decision. It defines whether you're building based on a forecast or for specific orders, where you're going to hold your inventory, and most importantly, exactly how real demand is going to consume your planned demand. But what if the forecast was just wrong? What about those old PIRs from last quarter that never got used up? For those, we can't really rely on automation. That's when we have to roll up our sleeves and do a little manual housekeeping. This is the process that's going to make sure your plan stays clean and totally reliable. And we're not just talking about hiding old data here. We are talking about permanently deleting those obsolete PIRs from the database for good. And luckily, SAP gives us a safe 3-step routine to get it done right. Okay, here are the 3 magic transactions. First, you run MD74 to adjust requirements. This basically finds those old lonely forecast quantities and sets them to 0. Second, you run MD75 to reorganize schedule lines, which goes in and deletes all those lines that you just zeroed out. And finally, MD76 cleans up the history. See the logic? You flag it, you delete it, and then you wipe away the records. Now, the most important thing to remember is that this is not a one-and-done kind of fix. Running this process regularly, say once a month, is an absolute best practice. It's how you make sure you're getting rid of requirements that are truly obsolete and keeping your planning system squeaky clean. So, we've walked through the automatic reduction and the manual cleanup. But why is mastering this 2-part process so incredibly important? I mean, why should you, as a planner, really care about all this? It's because your ultimate goal is to make sure your demand plan, all those PIRs in your system, is the single undisputed source of truth for your material requirements planning, your MRP. Think about it. A clean plan leads to an accurate MRP run, which leads to efficient production. It's the old saying, right? Garbage in, garbage out. And that really leaves us with one final and I think crucial question to think about. How clean is your planning data? Because making sure that data is solid isn't just another task on your to-do list, it is literally the foundation that your entire production plan is built on. All right,